Hello friends, I made this far. My name is Lauren, and today, come in bestie, we're talking about the devil. Because the devil and Capricorn are like this basically, and not the scary red devil. We're talking about the devil in the tarot. So if you've never been here before, hi, my name is Lauren. I talk about astrology through the tarot, talk about toxic spirituality, I talk about all things related to tarot and astrology. I do readings, all of that stuff. I'm also an artist and art teacher, and if you want to check out my other stuff, link will be down below. And if you are returning, hi. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're taking some time. Slow it down this season. We are reaching the end of Temperance season, which is, of course, Sagittarian season. We are about to hit this next week our winter solstice, which is the initiator of winter, and our initiator is Capricorn, and of course Capricorn in the tarot is the devil. So as always, I'm going to pull out 3 different decks and 3 different devils to kind of give us a place to reflect on what does this mean. So one that I'll be doing is the Scapolini Tarot, the Tarot of Plants, which looks like this. Box looks like this. And the Apparition of Spirit Speak Tarot deck, which I feel like I need to be doing a review on this deck soon. Because this is like such a good deck and I haven't used it in a while, so I'm pulling that baby out. But yeah, here we are. Comment down below. What kind of things have you been pulling? How have you been connecting with this season? I personally invested in my first new crystal that I've been working with very intensely. So I did a partial trade at an event I was vending at for the Stillbite. Stillbite is a very nurturing stone. It's good for helping you interpret dreams, which I don't know about you, but for the last like 2 or 3 months, my dreams have been bananas. So I don't know what they mean, and hopefully this will help. It's a heart stone, and it's one of those gentle opening stones to kind of help with whatever healing process you're going through, but also help you stay focused if you're ADD like me. So yeah, I'm not necessarily the kind of person that's like, crystals will heal your life, but like sometimes I want to just work with a crystal because it feels good and like it's drawn me to it, right? Like I've been called. Baby girl called me. Okay, like there's a lot of good sheen. It's hard to see in this lighting because it's kind of getting blown out, but she a good one. So I'm working with him this holiday season as a nurturing stone for myself. Now, as I said before, Capricorn is our initiator. That means it's a cardinal sign. And one thing that I really love about astrology is that the astrology connects also to the season. This is something I learned from Kathleen Callahan, also known as Daughter of Wands. When I was learning astrology from her, there was a lot of connection with plants. She works with plants a whole lot, creating tinctures and other such things. I interviewed her for my podcast because she's a brilliant herbalist, but also illustrator. So while we talk about this card, when we talk about this energy, and of course, when I talk about tarot cards and astrology, to me, it's all archetypes, right? We're not here to say like it's all this or it's all that. It's just what can we tap into, what's available to us, and how does that show up? Because it's going to show up different for all of us, babies. So again, we've got the Apparition of Spirit Speak Tarot deck, the whatever this one is called, my bad, y'all, and the Devil from the tarot for plants. So let's begin with the one I can't remember the name of because it is the most classic interpretation. So here we go. Starting out strong with this interpretation. This is a pretty classic take. We, in other depictions, might see two people connected to this part of the devil's like seated space. But in this one, it's like two little demons that are tied, not with chains, but instead by a rope. But the visual remains the same as far as like, what can we take from it? One of the big things that devil gets placed as is restrictions and unhealthy habits. And it's just not serving anybody. It really fucking isn't. If we look at the devil as just simply addiction, we miss out on all the magic that we can actually connect with it as a image that connects us deeper into the astrology of Capricorn. And of course, Capricorn is not just all addiction, baby. It's a multifaceted being, believe it or not. It's not all a workaholic. It's a lot more. I myself am a Capricorn. So I'm tired of my sign being shit on, okay? I'm a Capricorn sun, a Virgo moon, and a Cancer rising. So stop coming for my besties that make me up. Okay? So what is happening in this picture? Well, we have the devil that is one pair of fingers pointing up to heaven. And then we also see a sword. So there's this energy of like balancing to me. So if we want to think about it as addiction, it is the balance. But if we're thinking about the devil as it relates to Capricorn, this card to me reads a lot of why the limit exists. The limit exists for a reason. And this is something I've told people so many times. I've said it so much on my channel. Saturn and Capricorn are not here to just be mean old daddy, but the limit exists for a reason. We can't make something out of nothing. But of course, there's a balance here. Capricorn tends to sometimes be a little too rigid in its thinking. And that's sometimes why people are a little like, don't like Capricorn. But it's like, babs, you're the ones being fucking unrealistic out here. Stop that shit. Capricorn is all about the limit exists for a reason. So even though these little devil beings are tied up, they're still doing stuff. They're still doing stuff. One is a femme, it seems, and one is a mask, it seems. And one of the masks, actually, the mask one has his fingers up like the devil. And I'm going to interpret that as men are the devil. Just kidding. That's not nice. But what it is it's showing us this, like, maybe pull between two parts of ourselves. And again, keeping that reined in so that we can actually move through the world with purpose. Now, what is this? This is bindweed, and this is from the Tarot of Plants. Take a sip. You made it through the first card. And my cat is crying again, so the special guest comes back. If you're someone who's into herbalism, you might already know what bindweed is, but for some of us bitches, we're not as good with those things. So give me a moment. Ah, yes. Here it is. A field guide to this tarot deck. So I just wanted to pull this out because, as I've talked about, this is kind of a opportunity to learn a lot more about these signs, these teachers, by connecting to how other people have interpreted them. So, bindweed. And here it has unhealthy attachments. So I'm going to say that that's not necessarily all the thing. I've already discussed that. But let's read the quick meaning of bindweed. Bindweed's roots run deep beneath the soil and are stronger than they let on. Seemingly they are pulled up easily, but that is an illusion. Their roots snap, but only removes what is shown above. So much more runs beneath. So I love that interpretation of using this plant as medicine here. Bindweed is not so easy to just dismiss, right? So one way that I'm taking that as it reflects on Capricorn is that there's so much that Capricorn does beneath the surface. There's so much that is not obvious about that Capricorn energy. And this can be really important remembering that for this season, because this is when the hardships come on. Winter is when we kind of need to slow down in order to take better care of ourselves and community. We are literally in the middle of the cold, dark time of the year. So this idea of making sure your roots are well in so that you are resilient is how this comes off to me. I tend to also see this as like that resiliency sometimes has its limitations as well. And so there are some prompts in this book. Again, this is another artist that I interviewed for my podcast, Heather Enders. Again, you can check out everything in my link tree has all of that information. And I think some of these prompts, these journaling prompts are really good. So I'm not going to share all of them because like she's a genius and put all of these different prompts. But let's use some prompts because this might be useful when the winter solstice comes on the 21st and we are just like done with the bullshit, right? So one says, what needs to be weeded out in your life? That's one of the things that I think people overlook with Capricorn energy is Capricorn has a level of discernment. Sometimes not about taking care of their own physical body, but Capricorn can look at a situation and go, this doesn't serve, get it the fuck out. And of course that rubs people the wrong way, but babies, we are not here to please others. We are here for whatever reason we find is our calling, right? We're not here to please the masses. We're here to be ourselves. So here is another. What do you cling to? Is this a healthy attachment? Now, this does work with Capricorn because sometimes this Capricorn energy might mean that we are aiming a little too high. We are going for some levels of perfection that don't actually serve us. And I think we all feel that way around the holidays. We're trying to do the most for our kids, buy someone the best gift possible. But the truth is we can't be fucking perfect. And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially in this Capricornian time when we want to achieve and make this happen. We're kind of building and moving and grooving. And so if something gets in the motherfucking way, we get a little antsy. I don't know what just happened there, but I hope everything worked out. My computer froze. Woo. So that is one that I think could be really helpful. Again, I highly recommend you get this book and this tarot deck because as someone who's not really well versed in this kind of work, this work with plants, this is actually incredibly helpful. I will be doing a review of this deck pretty soon because I've had it for a while. Heather sent it to me and I am so thankful for it. This is a great fucking deck, so please make sure to Google the Tarot of Plants. Support local, support small. She lives in Taos, New Mexico. Holla. Here's another one that I think might be important. What behaviors or actions cause you shame? Can you forgive them instead of punishing yourself or avoiding them? So that's kind of, to me, piggybacking off what I already said, as far as like our ideas of perfection that we want to achieve this time of the year, how we want to grow, we want to grind, we want to, do these things. Even if it's not for our job, we tend to do this for our families and how we show up for others rather than ourselves. So if we are starting to get in our head and thinking that we're all fucked up, we are missing the point and we are cutting ourselves short of what all we achieve. So those are some ways to connect. Again, if you know more about bindweed or you have a connection with this plant, think about it. Pull it out. Think about how that reflects for you. And then lastly, I want to talk about the devil from this deck, the Apparition a Spirit Speak Tarot deck. This is one of my favorite decks, but it is super esoteric and vague. But let's talk about it. Let's look at it. Firstly, we have an open breast here, right? We have hands opening up. So something maybe a little bit more sensuality. We have perhaps the same person exposing themselves a little bit more in the sensuality. One person guarding themselves, one person locked away. And so to me, this represents the shame that the devil creates. Sometimes, and that was also the last thing we talked about from this field guide around bindweed, is that shame can be a restricting force. And as people in a society, shame is like somewhat useful because it keeps us doing like functioning things within society. But shame is also really harmful when it's out of fucking control. So shame can sometimes be our devil. Shame can sometimes keep us from doing things boldly. Shame might keep us playing safe. And the devil reminds us that these can be the chains that bind us, that sometimes it's those beliefs that our thoughts are like, we are wrong for what we're doing. We have to try harder to reach this ideal, which again, as a Capricorn, big vibes, big vibes. It doesn't serve though. And we can see that these like bodies circling around this is like the death of our belief in ourselves, and our ability to move past this can become the things that no longer serve. In other videos that I've talked about the devil, I've gone in quite a bit about how the chains are visible on a lot of interpretations of the devil. Of course, today we're moving past that so we can kind of dig into some other content that the devil might be teaching us that relate to Capricorn. But this can be seen as the chains that bind. We can move outside of that and kind of live in the in-between, the liminal space. That is possible. There's a different way. There's a different way to do things, right? So Capricorn, yes, structure is supportive. It keeps us where we need to be, but are we so contained we're limiting ourselves? Are we going home for Christmas and denying our truth, denying who we are, and making ourselves smaller for others so they can be comfortable while also making it harder for ourselves? It's one thing to do things and not feel terrible about it, but if it makes you feel terrible, is it really worth it? If it's really chaining you down and making you like just feel so small and insignificant and unable to move past, is it worth it? Like that becomes the question here. And I think that's one of the things that Capricorn energy can sometimes bring up. The holidays are emotional, and it's not just you. The fact that the sun is setting at fucking 4 o'clock is depressing as shit. So making yourself small to appease others is not going to do anything but enhance those shitty feelings, baby. Pull out a rock that you connect to, do some meditation, and really figure out what is really working for you or what's not. But the winter solstice is also a great time to do some energy work as far as like sitting down, journaling, thinking about how you have grown, what you want to work on for yourself and for your future, because Capricorn is all about not just the limit and why it needs to exist, but how to create the house that will be a home. Capricorn is the oldest earth sign in the rotation, babes. We start in Taurus, we go to Virgo, and the last earth sign of the astrological wheel is Capricorn. So we've learned some things, but we've also gained some baggage. So weed through the weeds. Weed through the weeds this season. Don't keep yourself small. Don't keep yourself fighting and chained down with people. Know where you can move outside of the limits and where your own liberation exists. Because honestly, babes, friends, y'all, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We don't need anyone else to tell us you're good. You are inherently good. I don't know if anyone told you that. But you're not a piece of shit. You're trying your best, and sometimes circumstances suck. So that's my pep talk. I hope that was supportive. This has been my video about Capricorn and the devil. Again, if you're interested in connecting with me more, whether that's on Instagram where I have my art and fun things, or TikTok where I do a lot of just bullshit stuff, links are always down below. I also have a shop, so if you're interested in buying some art, this is maybe the last weekend to order something and get it remotely in time. So until next, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.